Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pei.
And welcome. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News, CNBC News, and NBC Sports radio station, home to the Asian Oprah, number one talk in the IE. Thank you very much. AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, iTunes, TuneIn, Audible, Amazon Music, Tiki Live, Rumble, Spreaker, Podchaser, you name it. I'm there. Why? So many places. I want to maximize my splatter zone for more hope and happiness. So I want to balance out all the bad news out there. Every headline out there is bad. I used to say most, but it's all. So if you want that headline to start your day in a bad way, go ahead. Lots of places do it. But y'all know that for the past 695 consecutive weeks, this has been a place where you can land, where you're going to meet great people and guests, talk about great topics, and of course, be witness to some great series. And today you see her in the studio. It must be Wednesday. It's time for Doctors in the House with myself and
Dr. Tiffanie Tate.
She is a U.S. Navy veteran, published author, retired OBGyn from Compton, California, playwright, singer, songwriter, poet, and more. She's a published author of several books, including an important children's book called That Touching, and her newest, Money Matters. And her latest news is she's being thrown into the political arena running for Congress. Please welcome back to my studio, Dr. Tiffanie Tate.
Happy Wednesday, everyone.
Always good to see you. It's a good way to spend hump day with us because we like compete on who can be more positive unofficially. But welcome to the show. We start every show of mine every weekday morning with breakfast. So thanks for joining us for breakfast. We're going to do a bite of my gratitude sandwich. Top of the bun is things that we're grateful for outside of ourselves. Bottom of the bun, things that we're grateful for inside of ourselves, otherwise known as appreciation. So, Dr. Tiffanie, what are you grateful for today?
Oh my goodness, I had such a busy weekend, but I have something to show everyone. Look at this. I don't know if you can see that. This is a fancy schmancy award that I received this weekend in your hometown, the city of Long Beach, and I was honored. This is the Past, Present, and Future Admirable Women of Distinction Award.
Wow.
And it was for the woman of patience. And I felt very honored. I was able to give a speech and walk a little red carpet. And it was fabulous. I tell you, fabulous. I think it's great to receive your flowers when you are alive. So I wanted to share my award.
Yeah. What group was this?
This was 100 Black Men of Long Beach.
Dang. Wow. Why didn't you tell me you were coming down?
Well, it was the same day of the family reunion. And yes, that was another thing I was grateful for. And it was a very busy day. I also had to kick in my medical response because one of my cousins kind of passed out at the end. She was, the heat, and it was she got kind of dehydrated. So we had to call the ambulance, and she became hypotensive, and I had to put on my medical hat because I'm always a physician. And yeah.
Wow. Do I know which one?
Well, I don't think you met her. She did not come, but my uncle also had to go to the hospital, and he was admitted, and he was released yesterday. So, it was a very
Okay,
busy
you're forgiven.
Saturday.
You're forgiven. But congratulations for the award.
Thank you, thank you.
That's fantastic. I don't know, that 100 Black Men sounds interesting.
Yes, it's an international organization, and, you don't have to necessarily be Black to join
Okay.
it,
Okay.
and they mentor youth and encourage them to go to college, and they give scholarships, so it's a community organization.
Oh. Any good-looking single ones you picked out for me?
Oh, you would have enjoyed yourself, and there was a soiree afterwards, so there was dancing.
Okay.
So the dancing queen and you would have had a ball.
Now I'm definitely going to be mad at you for not having me go with you, but oh well, I'll get over it.
Next time, next time.
Okay. I am, well, next time you can have them give me an award. How's that?
Well, I don't get to pick it, but, we can suggest it.
Yeah, I haven't had an award since 2023. I think it's about time.
But you're on all the magazines,
That's
so
true. That's true. Yeah. I'm grateful that actually I made a magazine feature in Spain, which is
Mhm.
like ironic. I'm not on world tour because of the blood talk clots, but I'm featured in an international magazine. Okay. UPS man, Universal Power Source. He delivers, ironically, but I'm going to appreciate that. I'm grateful that I am gosh, that I'm known for good things. That's a good one. And I will give a little shout out to uh, I got a Lifetime Achievement Award in 2023. That was the last one I got from Gestalt OD Center.
Mhm.
And I'm like, does this mean I thought you had to be old to get Lifetime Achievement Award, but I was corrected that you can get it, agelessly. So I'm grateful for that.
Okay. And I'm grateful because on Sunday, my campaign sponsored feeding the homeless at the local lodge in Riverside. This is something that I usually volunteer to do, but my campaign, I sponsored and coordinated volunteers through my campaign. And we actually had a really good turnout and we had fun and I enjoyed it. And the first lady of my church was one of the volunteers as well. And we just had a good time and enjoyed talking to each other and prepping the food. And we prepped about a good 300 meals for the homeless people. And I think that that was a good civic responsibility and support for our community.
Awesome. Awesome. Um, I am grateful for there's so much to be grateful for. I'm grateful for that I'm closer to getting through the pain of the losses. I had a little setback. I got an email from my skipper. He didn't know about the blood clot, so I was invited uh, to race the last series. We even had kids to teach, and I had to tell them that I can no longer race sailboats, and that really set me back a bit because I've been like closer to acceptance. And so I'm so grateful that I, called my favorite niece, even though they all tease me, they're all my favorite, but Stella in particular, and just like unloaded and cried and got, felt my feelings and all the way through and was able to, come back and I feel better now because I felt it fully and then released it. So I'm not ready to go to the club after to join them for a meal. I think it's still a little too painful. Maybe by the end of the series, hopefully they get first without me. And then maybe I'll make it to the club to celebrate with them. But I'm giving myself a little bit of, time.
Well, you can always go and celebrate with them because you're there with them in spirit, and you love a good party.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. One more gratitude.
And I am grateful that Nathaniel made it back to New Jersey to start his second year at Rutgers. So that is always a good thing to have my son make it back to school safely.
Yay. And I am grateful that I went to my first comedy workshop yesterday, and they were amazed that I'd only, started less than a year ago. And I got a lot of compliments and also good direction, and then got free access to the comedy store and enjoyed the roast battle. And so this is my new community. One of the blood clot silver linings of staying put is now this looks like my newest arena in which to play in, and I'm grateful for that.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah. Let's go to the bottom of the button. That is, what do you like about yourself? This is weight training, weightlifting for good mental health. If you don't approve of yourself, how the fork do you expect anybody to approve of you? It's a time where we're modeling for you what we want you to do before you go to bed tonight, instead of thinking about all the things and ways in which you're not good enough. What are you good at? That way, you don't need to look for love in all the wrong places, and you don't need to have antenna up looking for likes, literally, on social media these days. So, Dr. Tiffanie, what do you like about yourself?
Well, I like the fact that I still retain my medical knowledge, and I was able to assist my family. I was able to talk to the medical response team and keep my family calm in this emergency situation.
I appreciate that. I reach more people than I can even imagine. I haven't fully celebrated. I wanted to wait until I got with my co-hosts. I officially passed the 4 million impression mark on my YouTube TV channel. So thank you. I appreciate that. I keep on going and going. Someone told me I'm a cross between the Energizer Bunny and the Tasmanian Devil. I'll take that as a compliment. The love child between those two. And so it's 695.7 consecutive weeks on the air on camera. So I appreciate my, what is that? Keep doing it-ness.
I think you're gonna go even further, so I don't even know why bother counting. You're gonna just soar.
Well, I bother counting for me, because there are days when I'm like, what am I doing? Because those who know me, there's no rest, because I prep for the show the night before, and then I'm doing stuff in the morning, and then doing stuff with the show after. And this is only one of 8 jobs that I have. So yeah, I have to count for me.
The affirmation, absolutely.
Yeah.
I am thankful that I still get to teach the residents, and now that I have added extra things to my schedule, I actually have to plan, and they've already reached out to me so that I can incorporate them into my schedule to have that protected time for their lectures. And so I appreciate the fact that I can still incorporate that into my lectures. Incorporate their lectures into my schedule so that I can still have that protected time to give lectures to the residents to help mold the next generation of physicians, because we have a physician shortage, and we want to make sure we reinvest because we want to still lift as we climb. And that's very important to me.
I'll end with one last appreciation. I just had the inspiration, actually, now that I'm not going on world tour and in the air, I actually have time to teach again. I didn't even think of that because people think that I'm going to be gone. So I'm going to reach back out. I taught a course at UCLA last fall, and I declined any, because I was supposed to be gone until next year, but maybe I'll teach again. So we'll see. But thanks for joining us for breakfast. Hopefully you will join me every weekday morning with this good life habit. Hashtag Blissapline. If not, do it with whoever you're with, your significant other, and do gratitudes at the top of the bun, appreciation at the bottom of the bun, and sandwich your day in the most positive way. Thanks for joining us for breakfast. And now for the topic of the day. Dr. Tiffanie Tate, what is Doctors in the House going to talk about today?
We are going to talk about, where's my hey you?
Oh. I forgot which co-host we had.
Hey you!
There we go.
Hey! Hey you!
That's the one I like. Yeah. We are going to talk about excuses.
Excuse me. What's your excuse? Yeah, good topic. And why did you pick this, Dr. Tiffanie?
Well, I did just have a reunion. And when it comes to reunions, we have family. And sometimes you ask them to do things. And sometimes they want to do things. And sometimes they don't want to do things. And excuses. Sometimes you have to delve into what is an excuse. And we make up excuses all the time. And excuses you give for work, we give excuses to our family members, and we make excuses for ourselves. And I figured I would look this up because we had a lot of excuses flying left and right at my reunion.
Give me a couple of examples without saying names to protect the guilty.
Oh,
and good morning to Jerry. She's the captain of the Cashew Gallery this morning. Yes. So if you're driving, please do not chat with us. But if you're not driving, or when you get to a solid place, please do join me and Dr. Tiffanie for Doctors in the House live. We are in studio on my YouTube TV channels. Free subscribe. Give me the finger. This one, not the other one. And you can join us. We love it when you put your 8 cents worth in. And Jerry did just that, her favorite subject. And excuses are useless. I'm gonna come and be the contrary to balance it out and see when excuses are useful. So there you go.
Well, and I'm going to break it down because sometimes there's a difference. There's excuses and then there's reasons. And we're going to explain the difference between the two, because there is a difference between an excuse and a reason. And I'm going to differentiate the two because a lot of people don't understand the difference between an excuse and a reason. And there is a differentiation between those two, because an excuse is something that has, while you explain why something has been done or has not been done, or you do it to avoid doing something. So I'm going to start with this reunion that we just had, and we're going to start with a company that made the shirts. First, they didn't send all the shirts. And then they were like, oh, we'll get them there by Friday. And the reunion was on Saturday, because I called them and they were like, okay, we'll get them there by Friday. And we were missing five shirts. Well, they didn't get them there by Friday. They got them there by Monday, which is after the reunion. So that was a problem. So they made an excuse for that. So then there was someone who was like, a family member who was like, oh, I would have did X, Y, and Z if you had asked me. And we said, oh, okay, there is still time for you to do that. X, Y, and Z. And then they said, oh, well, never mind.
I
You
just love putting the fun into family dysfunction.
Well, you just said you would do it, but now you're making an excuse as to why you don't wanna do it. But you just said you would do it if there was time. Now we're telling you that there is time, and now you're saying you don't wanna do it. Make it make sense, people. Make it make sense.
That's
So,
hilarious.
I mean, I can continue to go on. And so I looked up the percentage of Americans that make excuses. And yes, and as there was a 2020 poll, and it found that the average American makes 6 excuses a day.
Six.
6
Wow, I'm
6
behind the average then.
excuses a day. So because we are all Americans, we live here in America. So if you live in America, we're going to call you an American. I don't care what you call yourself. If you dwell here, we're going to consider you an American, and we're going to say you probably make about 6 excuses a day. You may not know it, whether you do it consciously or subconsciously. You probably make about 6 excuses a day. So
Dang.
that's about 2,200 excuses annually. So that's why we are talking about this subject. We are going to smack it, flip it up, and rub it down. And we are going to dissect this today so we can try to figure out why we do this. Remember in elementary school, who, what, when, where, why? Let's dissect this and figure out what is the real issue behind it? Because the common excuses are I'm too tired, that's about 49%, not enough
Wow.
time, about 48%, not enough money, about 48%, it's too inconvenient, about 31%, and too forgetful, about 28%.
So those are your top. That was my next question. Are there common excuses that people make? Is there any upside to excuses? I would chime in and say it's good to have an excuse if you can bow out of something and be nice about it. So an excuse for me, like if it's kind of like if you can't say anything nice, don't say it. So if you can't do something because you know it is not good for that person, then you can make an excuse to bow out without making them feel bad.
Mhm.
That's my only defense for making an excuse. I'm trying to think of one that I've done lately, but I don't think I meet that average of 6 a day.
Well, what about to yourself? It may not be to other people, but it could be like, I don't wanna go to the gym because I'm too tired. I wanna get on the treadmill because, I mean, you don't necessarily have to make it to
Okay,
other
that's a good
people.
point. That's a good
You
point.
can make them for yourself.
Yeah, when I get up in the morning, my bathing suit says, you better go put this on and get some laps in before the show. And then my sweatpants say, nah, you're okay. Go back to sleep.
Yeah, you good, girl. You good. Yeah. And
Oh,
so it's interesting because when we talk about different things, we can look at how we respond to ourselves and the reasons for making different excuses. Sometimes it's to just avoid responsibility because sometimes it can prevent us from facing some different consequences of different actions or interacting with different people. And sometimes it's just to protect your self esteem. Admitting fault can feel bad. And so you can make an excuse to protect your ego because you don't want to be put in a different situation
let go of my ego.
right. Or, Or sometimes there's fear and anxiety. Making excuse can be a way to cope with that. And so you could also be doing it to avoid any discomfort because you're like, okay, I really don't want to be in that situation. I don't want to be with these people. And so I'm going to make an excuse to just not go there, not be in that situation. And so
Somebody just gave you a finger. Not that one, but this one. They agreed with you. And I'm going to interject for a second on excuses to yourself, because you brought that up and it's true. And when people say to me, I don't have enough time, right?
Mhm.
When I'm coaching them, I will say, you choose to not have time for this. Same thing with money. I choose so that you begin to feel some responsibility and power for yourself and your choices. So when people tell me I don't have enough time, I don't have enough money. No, you do, and it's okay. There's no criticism here. But when we switch it up and say, I choose not to, with my time that is non-renewable energy, that is finite, with the day, 24 hours a day, then it begins to allow you to feel like you're the boss of you, which is always what I want you to do, because we don't use that power of choice. And that we feel like some people are, holding a gun to our head to do this in your phone, meaningless scrolling. That's bullshit-taki. You made that choice. You may not have enough time to go work out, but you certainly chose some time to be doing this, right? Just saying. Little tough love here.
Oh, absolutely. And now, even if you go to the gym, a lot of times they have a thing for your phone, a holder for your phone. So if you want to, scroll while you are on the treadmill, kill two birds with one stone. Let's be healthy and do a little exercise at the same time and have a healthy heart. I'm the doctor. I want you to be healthy. So I think that a lot of times we have to be true to ourselves and think about what we can do. And when we talk about excuses, we want to reflect on why we're making it. Now, I don't know why you're making an excuse. Only you know why you're making an excuse.
Habit.
Yes.
Habit.
So Dr. Marissa can't tell you why you're making an excuse.
Yeah, I can. It's a habit. I'm
Mhm.
gonna say I can tell you exactly why. If you're not doing what you want to do, it's a habit. And the momentum of a habit is you feel like you don't have a choice. So if you don't like your habit, if you don't like what you're doing, and you're making excuses for what you're continuously doing, being late, not taking care of your body, not taking care of your health, not taking care of your work, not opening your mail. It's a habit. And if you're making excuses, that's another good thing about excuses.
Mhm.
It's an indication that you're trapped in a habit that you might want to look at. And like Dr. Tiffany said, the habit part of it is the thing I can't tell you to do. You have to do that. I can't tell you. I can show you what your habit is by what you're by what you're making excuses about.
Yeah, absolutely. And when it comes to like personal issues, whether it's your health, um, like illness, doctor's appointments, mental health, um, personal care, needing to take personal grooming, appointments, getting your nails done, family, pets, or emergencies, or even personal responsibility, needing to run errands that you're putting off, needing to take care of personal tasks, like she said. Just make sure you don't procrastinate, like she said. I was going to do it, but I didn't get around to it.
I've
Sometimes,
always wanted to be a procrastinator, but I never got around to it.
yeah. So you just have to be committed, and maybe that'll be another show, commitment.
Oh,
And
that
so,
C word.
yes, um, and I think it's something that you need to decide in your mind when you're talking about friendships, building bridges, and focusing on work. Only you can decide what you want to do and how you want to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And that brings us to time for a quick break for news, weather, traffic, and a word from our sponsor. If you've just tuned in and you're wondering what's going on in studio today, this is Take your advice. Take my advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show, and our very special Wednesday series, Doctors in the House with myself and
Dr. Tiffanie Tate.
Don't go away. We will be right back with more on excuses. We'll be back in 2 and 2. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pei.
Hello. I am running for the U.S. House of Representatives. I am an American. I am a mother. I have been a soccer mom who has been a soccer referee. I have been a Boy Scout mom. I have raised an Eagle Scout. I have raised a Girl Scout who has won her Gold Award. I am you. And I know what it means to struggle because I had my children when I was in medical school, when I was in residency, before I became a physician. So I know the common struggles of everyday life. And I will do an excellent job to fight for the same rights that you need. Trust me when I say I will work for you. I have 2 events coming up, so visit my events page and go with me to Viejas Casino on August 31st and go and hear me speak over Zoom on with Now and Win with Black Women. I am Dr. Tiffanie Tate, board certified OBGYN, veteran of the United States Navy, and help me fight for you and support me at Dr. Tate for Congress. Thank you.
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pei.
And we're back. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News Radio, home to the Asian Oprah, AM 1050, FM 106.5, number one talk in the IE. Thank you very much. And streaming everywhere, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and of course my YouTube TV channel, Central, all my 1,461 shows, but who's counting? As well as my red carpet playlist with my interviews with Halle Berry, John Travolta, Quincy Jones, the soundbite with Jimmy Kimmel, you name it, it's on that channel. So free subscribe. Thank you for tipping me over the 4 million impressions on the channel. And, I just love to bring you good topics and good people, especially co-hosts with the mostest. And today it is time for Doctors in the House with myself and
Dr. Tiffanie Tate.
And what is the topic of today that we've been talking about, Dr. Tiffanie?
We
Hey!
are.
Hey, you! Hey!
We have been talking about excuses, and now I'd like to delve into the difference between an excuse and a reason, because they are distinct, and a lot of times we mesh them together because it's not an excuse, it's a reason. Highlights when you talk about it, an action and attempt to avoid responsibility, because they define a reason as a factual account of why something happened. And it often includes your own actions or circumstances while still acknowledging your role. And an excuse, conversely, shifts the blame to external factors, and it avoids accountability and seeks to lessen negative consequences without taking any responsibility. And I thought that was very interesting because a lot of times when we talk about it, we're like, oh, well, this is why I did it. And we give a reason, like, well, we give a reason, but it's really an excuse. But reasons are different from excuses, and we use them interchangeably, and we're wrong.
Yeah. And that's, I think, what I was exactly, on my soapbox about earlier is that when you use an excuse to avoid taking responsibility and you transfer the blame, as if you had no choice, that is when an excuse is not a reason, it's an excuse. And those are things that will rob you of happiness, whether it's good relationships, because I know that I have very low tolerance, probably maybe that P word is affiliated with that. But I'll tell you, when someone says, yes, I will do this, be there, commit to. And I've noticed that the West Coast mentality, I'm generalizing now, but I've got an East Coast. I know 6 months from now what I'm going to be doing on my calendar, and it's scheduled because time is my most valuable resource. I'm not going to get it back. So if I'm counting on you to do, say, be where you said you're going to be, and then you cancel last minute, you get one of those. And then after that, if you do it again, actually, honestly, to be perfectly honest, Dr. Tiffanie, one is enough. When someone, says that or does that, I will say, I try not to blame them, but I choose to surround myself with people who actually don't make excuses, right? Their reasons. Now, if their reason was that there was a car accident or some family emergency, someone went to the hospital, that's a reason, right? But I forgot more than once, not a reason, that's an excuse. So then I, right or wrong, will link that to, you don't respect my time, you don't value my time, therefore I don't want to include you in any future activities because I only have that one time, one chance, whatever. Now, whether that's good or bad, useful or not, I have to be honest and put the moose on the table, talk about the elephant in the room. That's my Canadian expression of that. Right or wrong, that is, or useful or not, that's my MO. Now, I will tell on myself and say, the good news about that is I run a pretty tight calendar ship. The bad news about that is most people don't operate like that here around the West Coast. It is much more loosey-goosey, which it drives me crazy. But I have to, if I want to have relationships, social relationships, I got to chill, man. I'll tell on myself right now.
That's funny because my shirt yesterday had the Snoopy on it with the chill on it because, of course, that's the California.
Okay, you can send it to me.
It's like chill. And so maybe that's what you need. I'll have to get you one to remind you to chill and basically there's specific characteristics of reasons and characteristics of excuse. And with the characteristics of reasons, you want to take responsibility, you want to explain the cause, you want to focus on reality, and you want to lead and take action. And the characteristics of an excuse, shifting blame, avoids accountability, defends the action taken, and they often seek forgiveness or understanding. And I will say this, what I found this weekend it was a lot of excuses. There wasn't many reasons provided. There was like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, can you forgive me? Oh, this. Oh, that." And I'm like, "Okay." But it's interesting because in college, there was a poem that we learned called Excuses, and I often teach it to my children because I want them to be better people and better, focused, and it
Let's
goes
hear it.
excuses. Excuses are tools of the incompetent. They build monuments of nothingness, and those who dwell upon them are seldom less than anything else. Excuses. And so I try to teach them that so that they can focus and not give me excuses as a mom. And I want them to do and not give me an excuse. And
Yeah.
people may say, Tiffany, really? And so I learned that. And a lot of people I know learned that. And so I think it's important for them to be goal oriented and to focus. And I think it has helped to mold them and achieve what they have achieved. Because you look at me coming from Compton, coming from humble beginnings, um, without my biological parents, being a bonus child to a single parent home, and having to fight for everything I had. I couldn't have any excuses. I had to have reasons, and those reasons had to make me what I am today, and they had to lead to action, and I want my children to have actions, not excuses.
Yeah. Yeah. Really good. Um, when does a reason become an excuse? I will say if you're using the same reason multiple times with multiple people, chances are it's an excuse, right? If you're
Mhm.
using a different reason for different events and different people, then it's a reason. And I say this because I do have individuals who will actually, like, if you cancel something or whatever, if you come to me and say, Dr. Marissa, I feel horrible, this is not usually me and I apologize, right? It might make me back up just a bit and give you another chance. But if I hear that 3 separate times again and again and again, and there's no change in behavior, then that's an excuse. And that for
Mhm.
me is, you're out, go be that with somebody else. And I was going to say, I'm not judging your character, but I am. But I just choose not to have you in my intimate social group because I can't count on you.
Mhm.
So when you do a reason more than once with the same person, with apology or not, that's an excuse.
Yes, and then there's an example, like, here's an example versus an excuse versus a reason, and then you can see the distinction. Like, I'm late because the train broke down, blaming the train, not acknowledging that you could have left earlier. And then here's an example of the same thing where it becomes a reason. I'm late because the train broke down and I should have left earlier. So I apologize. Can we reschedule? Taking responsibility for your part, but you also offer a solution. So, in the same two instances, the train broke down, but you take responsibility and you say, Yes, I know I'm late and I should have left earlier. And so that's that action portion. Some people are like, yeah, I'm late. I'm sorry. But okay, you're taking ownership. And that's where you give that reasoning part. And you're like, okay, these are the things that I'm willing to do to fix it. Some people just want an out. And that's the difference between the reason and the excuse. And a lot of people don't want to take that extra step. So this is how we can be better. This is how we can fix those things. And we want you to grow. This is that growth step.
Yeah, absolutely. I know I was struck. I was shared a stage with Michael Phelps a long time ago, and someone asked him, what makes you excel, right, beyond the athlete, the average athlete with all of these gold medals and things like that. And he said, instead of saying, oh, I'm just lucky or anything like that, he said, well, most athletes train 6 days a week and rest on the 7th. I know that I want to excel beyond that, so I train 7 days a week. So it's a choice, right? Taking that responsibility for doing something and then taking responsibility when you're not doing it. If you're complaining that you are not where you want to be and blaming everybody else, right? Doing the, political salute. Sorry, not you, but, some regimes. Instead of that, the buck stops right here and you're going to say, I'm not, it's related to our topic last week. If the grass is greener on the other side, water your own lawn. What are you doing that is not helping your own cause? And that thing you said earlier about the excuses you make yourself to yourself, that's so foundational, right? Because if you can't honor your own promises to yourself, okay, I'm not going to do this because I know it's not helpful to me, and then you turn around and do it, you just broke your own word to yourself, and you're going to feel like a piece of shiitake. And so self-esteem is through esteemable acts. If you say you're going to do something, do it. Gospel according to Nike, just do it. If you don't do it and you keep making excuses, multiple reasons, same reasons for that, you're not going to feel good about yourself. You're not going to be 88% happy. And this you can control.
Yeah. And there are consequences to making excuses. It hinders personal development. It creates a sense of stagnation where you can kind of become trapped in a pattern of inaction. And we don't want you there. And believe me, you don't want yourself there. And it can damage relationships because people are like, okay, this person is always doing this. And, are they flaky? And, it can develop labels and it can erode trust and respect. And so you don't want people giving you the side eye. And so you want to think about your self-image because you want to be happy with you. And if you're happy with you, great. But you always want to reflect on how I feel about me. And I think it's important when you think about you.
Yeah. In my book, 8 Ways to Happiness, I have what we call the perfectionistic slide, and it resonates with so many people. So I'll bring it up here because you've talked about procrastination. That's the second step in the slide. So if you're a perfectionist, and unfortunately, our culture, especially in America, almost values, you wear it like a badge if you stay at work for 80 hours. If you want everything perfect, that's a good thing. But actually, it's not real useful because if you're a perfectionist, you're never happy. I'll be happy when, and that when keeps moving, right? So then if you can't do it perfectly, you move to procrastination. I've always wanted to be a procrastinator and never got around to it because I'll wait until all the conditions are good before I try it. That's procrastination. But if you stay there too long, you're going to go right to paralysis. So if I can't, I'll do it later. And then I'm not going to do it at all. And then that's the one that stays in bed. That's the one that doesn't open mail. That's the one that when you're not feeling good, you reach for something outside of yourself to make yourself feel good. Addiction, instead of, okay, the buck stops right here. Obviously, I'm not keeping word to myself. I'm not keeping my own word. Let's break it down. let's, instead of taking a giant bite back into perfectionism, let's just do the best that we can. Have I done the best that I can with the time that I have and the resources that I have, 15 minutes at a time? If I said, I'm going to lose 50 pounds, don't say that. You're putting this expectation. But if I can say 15 minutes a day, I'm going to take a walk, or I'm going to not eat after 8 o'clock. Those are doable, smaller chunks of keeping, esteem for esteemable acts to yourself.
Mhm. Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm going to tell on myself. I was, you notice I said was in the past. I was one of those people who would just bring in the mail and put it on my island because it would just be overwhelming. I had so much junk mail. And I would just say, okay, I'm going to get to it. I'm going to get to it. I'm going to get to it. And by the time I turned around, it was a heap. And I was like, oh my God, I don't want to go through it because it was overwhelming. I would procrastinate. And so then I would say, okay, I'm going to sit down. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to sit down and go through it. And then I decided this is horrible. I made up in my mind, I'm going to go through it every day because I have my recyclables. I have my paper, my glass, my plastic, and my trash cans all lined up. And so I said, every day I'm going to do what I have to do. And every day I'm going to do my mail. When it comes in, I'm going to open it and deal with it that day. And it just takes a made up mind to be committed. And I said, no more excuses, no more mail excuses. And I was committed to that.
There you go. Both of us have shared our own humanness. That is just, it only applies if you're a human. But we do the best that we can. It's balance. It's not like an all or nothing, and it's not all, and it's not nothing. There's a place in between, that comfortable place. I know for me, it's to chill a little more and not have so many unrealistic expectations of myself and others. And at the same time, those of you who are just a little too chill and a little too, well, I didn't have this or I didn't have that, therefore I can't. Nah, that's bullshit talky. Everybody can do, have, or be whatever they set their mind and heart to, right? You don't have to do it alone, but you do have to believe in yourself, right? And excuses will take away the ability to believe in yourself. So that is I guess we don't have to have a final word yet, but that's my homework for you. What are you doing that is just an excuse, not a reason? It's just an excuse. And the buck stops right over here. What is something you can commit to yourself? Put your hand over your heart right now. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Jerry, you can do this with me, and release through the mouth. And just say, what's one thing that I want to begin taking responsibility for 15 minutes at a time during the day that I have been giving excuses about? Pick one thing. Pick one thing today. We'll check in with you next week on Doctors in the House to see how you did. Those of you who want advanced work, go to my website, www.drmarissa.life or asianoprah.online, and join the 21-day fast from complaining. If you say to yourself, I'm not going to complain anymore, I'm going to take responsibility for myself, and you still start pointing fingers with blame or shame, time to join the fast. 21 consecutive days where you're not complaining about anyone, anything, and yourself, because you can do it. There you go. There's the Happy 88 challenge for the day. I haven't done that in a while.
Okay. Well, as we get close to the final word, I want to remind you that most people make 6 excuses a day. 6. And if you find that you are about to make an excuse, think about, do you want to make an excuse or a reason? Do you just want to excuse it away, or do you want to take action? I cannot tell you what to do. Only you can be in charge of you. But I found a quote and I thought it was pretty impressive. And it says, if you want something bad enough, you will find a way. If not, you will make an excuse. And I thought that that was something impressive because we all make a way for things that we want because it's important to us.
Yeah.
And you need to decide what is a priority in your life.
Yeah.
You prioritize the things that are important to you and you dismiss the things that are not, whether it's people, whether it's objects, and make way for the priorities and love those things and focus on those things. Don't excuse those things.
Here's my final word. One of the biggest excuses that I hear as a happiness coach is I can't get ahead. I can't feel good about myself. I can't accomplish that because I had this happen to me and it was unfair. And mother shouldn't do that. Priest shouldn't do that. Father shouldn't do that. Teacher shouldn't do that. And I don't feel good enough. I will never be able to do all the things that you think I can do. I don't feel like one of a kind wonderful, and I don't ever think I will because I didn't have a healthy childhood. I had trauma. And my response to you is whatever happened to you in the past, you had no responsibility for. It's so sad that it happened to you. And I am really sorry that it did. And I had my own. I'm one of the 7 out of 10 of us who did. And yeah, you're not responsible for what happened in the past. You didn't bring it on, right? You weren't so bad that you were punished. That's not true. However, now we're in the present. And it is your responsibility to choose whether to drag that shiitake from the past into the present and spew it on to the future and use it as an excuse for why you can't be, do, or have everything that you have in your birthright, which is to be happy 88% of the time, is to fulfill your dreams and desires. So that's up to you, boo. You're not responsible for the past, but you are responsible now. So that's my final word. Yours?
Well, again, I say, you got this. No excuses. Rise to the top, overcome, and go and have the best day ever.
You're a little ahead. That's good. That's good. It's all. I hope you've enjoyed Doctors in the House today on excuses as much as we have. We're going to sign out now. This is all about balance. Peace in, peace out, world. Peace through inner peace. Thank you, Dr. Tiffanie, as usual. Great combo. Great things for people to think and grow with. So until next Wednesday, take us out. Again.
Now go and have the best day ever.
Take back your